Hey, what's going on, K-Town team? This is Charles, and you know what? I am loving this summer, right? Longer days, more time at the beach, and this amazing Where in the World series. Hasn't it been fun? I absolutely love exploring the life of the Apostle Paul, and more specifically, how the story of Jesus completely changed his life, his purpose, and even his focus. And so, as we continue to explore the life of the Apostle Paul, we are going to explore a very important and I think relevant subject of forgiveness. You know, regardless of Paul being mistreated, put on trial, and thrown in jail so many times in his life, for some reason he still had room in his heart to forgive and to love others. And in fact, as he set up many of the early churches, he was compelled to write them about this whole concept. He said, "Be kind and considerate to one another, forgiving one another, just as in Christ, God forgave us." And really, that's the story of Paul, right? He did a whole lot of things that he shouldn't have done, and he did them without truly knowing who Jesus was. But once he met Jesus on the Damascus Road, he instantaneously received forgiveness, and he received a new focus and purpose in life. And so he wanted to offer that forgiveness to others, and that's the message of this weekend. The story of Jesus changes how I forgive others. That's our bottom line. The story of Jesus changes how I forgive others. We're going to have a lot of fun illustrating this in our large and small groups. So let's get into it. In our large groups, our host is going to reprise this role of Drake Rockwell. And Drake Rockwell is going to be a little bit bitter. Drake Rockwell has missed a really valuable trip to Africa to go on a safari this week because somebody kind of messed up his tickets, and so he or she is going to be really angry and pacing back and forth on stage, and they're going to actually pull up one small group leader and a couple of kids to play a fun game of Mother May I. Now here's the idea. The host is going to purposely leave out the small group leader and make them lag behind and actually lose the game, and the whole idea is they are withholding forgiveness in their heart, and so it's causing a lot of junk to be attached to their heart, so they're just not being very nice. And so we're illustrating what holding back forgiveness does to us. It just makes us mean and really not operating out of the love of Jesus Christ. We're also going to have fun illustrating this in our small groups. Activity number 1 is called Kind and Compassionate. This is going to be a simple activity with some paper bags and some crayons, and we're going to talk to the kids about a few different scenarios that would cause them to really not be happy and maybe even withhold forgiveness, like somebody borrowing their favorite toy and destroying it, or maybe somebody taking something from them that was truly theirs. And so we're going to ask them to draw out how they would feel on the paper bag. So maybe they'll be drawing frown faces, or they'll be drawing faces that are where they're crying or angry or sad. Well, the whole idea is for us to talk about what forgiveness does to those faces and to those feelings. Those feelings are real, but when we offer forgiveness, at the end of the activity, we're going to draw a huge heart over those faces, because it's the love of Jesus that causes us to forgive and allows us to be forgiven. Activity number 2 is called Forgive One Another, and this is an activity that is going to look a lot like bingo. And so you're going to read different scenarios out that are given, and each scenario will have a different number to it. If the scenario ends in forgiveness, then the children are going to actually mark that number on their bingo board with a heart. As they complete that bingo board, that child wins. And what we're really doing here is we're giving an opportunity to replay a lot of the roles where we can offer forgiveness, and we're establishing forgiveness as something positive to do. Activity number 3 is going to be a fun one, at least for the small group leader, but you're going to have the kids attempt a bunch of impossible and improbable activities. Like you're going to put a piece of tape 10 feet high on the wall and see which child can touch it. Or maybe you're going to put a piece of tape 20 feet away on the ground, and you're going to see if they can jump to it in one leap. And the whole idea is that these are impossible activities. What we're illustrating here, and what's really important to drive home, is our memory verse, and is the key to our memory verse. And that is this: we don't work out our own salvation. There's nothing within us that can create salvation in and of ourselves. It is purely a gift from God. And so the forgiveness that we receive from God is not something that we earn, it's just something that was given, and therefore it's something to be appreciated. This ties amazingly into forgiveness because just as Jesus forgave us, we get an opportunity to teach these kids about forgiving others. That's it for this week's K-Town Huddle video. You guys, we love you. Thank you so much for making K-Town a place that kids and families love so they can experience a loving God.